Recently, I discovered this manga that I didn't know if I would like. Now, by discovered, I mean it sat on my shelf for a while before I read it because I was scared to start it. But now I'm so glad I started this manga series. The name of the series is Aria. This series is so good. This is the first manga series that I read that is a purely slice of life manga with no other plot devices driving the story forward, which is exactly what I was scared of. I love slice of life anime, but I didn't know if it would translate into the written format, but thankfully it did. But that could also just be a testament to the sheer quality of the Aria manga. There is so much to talk about with this manga series. But before jumping into that, if you could, it would be awesome if you could subscribe to the channel, especially if this isn't the first video of mine that you're watching. It would help out a ton. I'm so close to 1,000 subs and that would be awesome to see. And if you find yourself liking this video, then hit it with a like as well, as that will also help out a ton. Anyway, let's get right back to the video. This series is really interesting in a lot of ways. Firstly, it's a fairly unique sci-fi series. Normally, when you think of sci-fi, you think of series like Star Trek or Star Wars, series about flying through space with a lot of action and cool gadgets. And this series is not that. So, could you even call it a sci-fi then? Well, in my opinion, yes, because firstly, the series takes place hundreds of years into the future. Plus, it doesn't take place on Earth, so those 2 points stand out to make it a sci-fi series in my mind. But beyond that, I said there weren't any cool gadgets like in most sci-fi series, and that is mostly true. There are no cool gadgets on the planet where the story takes place, that is. We see Akari, who is from Earth, talk about how much different Earth is from what we know it to be today, and how she loves the current planet she's on more, as it's more homely and it gives off a more relaxing and beautiful nature. This series took what we normally see as sci-fi and turned it on its head. This series is about enjoying life to the fullest, and that includes nature. Speaking of enjoying life to the fullest, this series tackles the concept of dreams really nicely. Akari, the main character, traveled all the way from Earth to Mars just to follow her dream of becoming an Undyne. And throughout the whole series, we constantly see not just Akari, but her friends work extremely hard for that dream. We each see them take different approaches to that dream as well. Some work hard on their boating skills, others learn about the local area and get to know the people. They each take a different approach to achieving their dream, and all of these methods are valid. Achieving one's dreams is never easy, and it can take a lot of growth before one even seems ready to tackle it. But one thing I can say, and this series also tells you, is that you must try no matter what. Because if you don't try, then you will never achieve anything, and that is criminal. So work towards your dreams and be better people, and I'm sure you will achieve them one day. The friendship these characters show in this manga is so good. The way all the characters care and support each other is exactly how you should treat friends. We see that despite all 3 of the main girls having the same dream of one day being the best Undyne, they still all support each other and want what's best for each other. We also get to see them support each other in their romantic pursuits. Even the teachers are all such good friends with each other, and you can see that has not changed over the years. I think that has rubbed off on their students, and that is what makes the main girls so friendly and supportive of each other. Their role models made them realize that it's better to support people and form a friendship with people instead of constantly seeing the other person as a rival that you must overcome. Aria is such a good series and handles this topic so well. This series is honestly really funny. The comedy is unmatched, and that mostly comes down to how much the main characters feel like friends. The comedy is all about the interactions with the characters. All of them have different personalities, and each of them play a role in the friendship dynamic. We are able to see the quirks that make most of these characters hilarious. All of them are funny for different reasons and in different contexts. Like for instance, if 2 characters are the focus of a chapter, that chapter would be funny for one specific reason. But then, if you take one of those characters and put them in a different scenario with another character, that different scenario would be funny for an entirely different reason. Just seeing the dynamic play out this way makes the whole series better to me, and it really just makes the whole series fun. All of these different factors make this series super wholesome. We get to see friends hanging out and having fun. Some really good comedy, and even a little bit of romance. This series has found a way to be one of the most wholesome series I have ever read simply on the backs of its characters and their interactions. This series also gives off that homely vibe throughout the entire story. This vibe makes the series even better. You get the wholesomeness combined with the homely feeling, and it just makes for a really solid series that is fun to read. You know what else makes this series goated? This is the second time a series has made me cry over a boat. Not as severe as what One Piece did, but they did admittedly get a tear out of me during that chapter. So yeah, this series can do emotional moments really well as well, which just makes them even better. One of the best things in this manga is the damn art, man. The mangaka is so talented, it's crazy. One of my favorite things is the 2-page spreads. There's damn near a 2-page spread every single chapter, and they all look amazing. The art is next level amazing. Even just the regular art and paneling is good minus the 2-page spreads. This series does a really good job at getting you invested in the story and characters through the art. Plus, the amount of detail we see in everything is crazy. We get to see so much detail and it makes the backgrounds look so good, which is a part of why the 2-page spreads are so fucking good. But anyway, the art is amazing and one of the main reasons I recommend this series to anyone. This series has some really good world building, which is surprising because when you think of a slice of life series, world building is not something that you usually think of. However, this series does a really good job at explaining the world, teaching us history, and showing us how humans got to where they are in the current story. There are so many conversations in this story that help to explain how the world works. From how they regulate weather, to how this world is much different from Earth. All of these things make for a really interesting setup in the world and allows us to explore and learn and gets us invested in the people that live on the world. We even get to see some really interesting mysteries in the city, like all the weird cat stuff that goes on, but other stuff as well. This series does a really good job at building up a really interesting world that you want to explore and learn more about. There is one thing that is better than all the rest about this series, and that is the characters. The characters have such great personalities that it just makes it so much fun. The interactions with the characters are also so good. They all feel like real friends and it just adds to the wholesome vibe of the manga. Aria, the main character, is so fun. She is bubbly and loves to learn more about her new home. She likes meeting and talking to new people as well, which makes for some really great interactions with a lot of people. Aika and Alice are Akari's best friends on the new planet. They have such different personalities from each other, but their friendship still works really well. Aika is more aggressive and passionate about her dream than the other two. Alice is definitely the me of the group. Doesn't say much, but can be pretty blunt when she does say something. The teachers reflect their students pretty well. Of course, they all have their differences as well, but for the most part, you can tell who is whose student by their personalities. There are some solid side characters in this manga as well. We have seen a few romantic interests in the girls, and that makes for some really fun interactions throughout the manga. Plus, there's the mailman, who is just a nice old guy of the story. He makes for some very wholesome moments. The characters are the best part of the story in my opinion, and it really makes this story as good as it is. Aria has been a really good experience for me, and I have loved reading every single chapter. There is just something about this series that makes it really fun to read. I highly recommend this series if you are looking for a wholesome manga to help you relax, because that is exactly what this is.
Local San Francisco papers are investing a lot of money to try and get a service just like that started. Science editor Steve Newman reports on one person already using the brand new system.